narrowly focused, and it doesn't get you anywhere.
No. Are we doing is this the show before the show's show?
It's the show before the show. It's marketing, marketers marketing to marketers about marketing.
I love it.
It's so meta.
It's fantastic. So
Anywho.
that's exactly why we're here. To talk about the things we're here to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Definition. So meta.
Yes, very meta.
Start this thing.
Yeah, no, we'll start this thing.
More and more, I sound like the old guys in the viewing opera box.
Are we gonna start this show yet?
On the Muppets.
Today's gonna be fun, actually. So I may or may not leave at any time. I have 7 different trades here working on my house. It's because it's new construction. They offer an 11-month warranty, which they scheduled for a Wednesday. Just blows my mind. So they got heat guns going. We got power tools. We got electrical. I may lose power, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Any of these skilled laborers know how to run a podcast? Because clearly, I need somebody.
If they screw up the internet, it's on you, boss. It's a solo show.
I don't mind. Look, I'll just sit here talking whether the lights are on or not. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
I make no promises as to connectivity.
Yeah. I don't either.
My 12-year-old isn't home, so I'm not going to be able to get back on if you disappear. So anyway, we'll see.
Well,
or
surprise,
it might just run for the rest of the day, and I'll just sit here talking until your power comes back.
You would live stream your whole life.
Just sitting there. And anyway, I just keep falling asleep. It's like some kind of endurance competition. How long? I'm filibustering. Suddenly, Mr. Smith goes to Washington. I'm like, yeah, you know what else? Consultancies. That's not fair what they're doing. The consultants and I don't know. It's a terrible.
That would be fun.
It's a terrible Jimmy Stewart.
Enough of this. Welcome back to another episode of The Ether, where we disrupt your thinking, challenge the status quo, and illuminate the path to easier business success. I'm your host, Brandon Gano, joined by my co-host, Sean Delaney, the creator, founder, and mastermind behind What If, where we exist to demonstrate the acceleration, ease, and joy that comes from running a truly harmonious business. Let's dive in to another episode and grow your business. Aloha, Senor Delaney. What's crack-a-lackin'?
Oh, no. It's live. We can't take that out. You said crack-a-lacking.
Yeah, because that's what the cool kids say, right?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Says these days?
Get off my lawn. What are you kids crack-a-lacking out there with your TikToks?
Oh, man. Well, all right. We got a fun show. We have an important show. We have a topic that I think will shine some clarity for a lot of people trying to grow their business, get their time back, wherever they are on the journey. It's a question that we get all the time because it's what we do. We are fractional COOs. We help you grow, scale your company, get your freedom back. So what can a good COO do for your business? Whether it's fractional, full-time, a COO that's not really a COO, we're going to break all that down. There's a lot of myths to bust here, but it's a big question. So let's start with this question right off the top. Maybe obvious. What is a COO?
Yeah, well, that's a great question to ask because everybody's a fractional something these days. When we started calling ourselves fractional COOs, it was because it was more accurate as to what we really were doing. And we understood the term from its traditional corporate level as somebody's overseeing everything. Now you say, oh, I'm a fractional COO. And they say, oh yeah, me too. Or they'll say, oh, so you're an operations guy. Say, okay. What do you mean when you put those? I know what each individual word you're saying means, but when you put them together in a sentence like that, what do you think they mean? Oh, well, you do process automation or SOP. You go, okay. That is one instrument in the orchestra. We do that, but that's not really what we do. And I think we see that also when someone will say to us, I am a fractional CMO. Okay. I don't know if she means what I think she means, or I don't know if she thinks she means what she thinks she means. Right? Like, what do you mean by that? Because I know some fractional CMOs, and they've worked at massive giant companies, and they understand every single element and nuance of their discipline and the ways they play with all the other disciplines, because they've seen that at the highest corporate levels when that doesn't work and the problems there. They're singing from our hymn book. So they fully get it. What do you mean? Well, I mean that I do marketing, but I know that you should probably start with doing their strategic planning. Okay, great. You're not just the clarinet player saying, I am the band. You're understanding that some of these instruments have to be played in concert together. See what I did there, Brandon?
I like that.
But so you know 2 or 3 of the instruments, but you're not the conductor. You might be able to run. You have enough instruments to run it. You've got a session band, or you have a band, a wedding band, and it's great. And you can play a lot of covers. It's fantastic. You're really awesome. But I'm talking about orchestra level, all instruments across all the 10 disciplines, and understanding them and how they play together. So let's talk about the different kinds of fractional COOs that are out there. Okay. So one, you've got the ones that they solve intractable problems. So I've got a big issue. I need to solve it. You're COO, meaning some proximity of, I understand process. I understand multiple disciplines and how they connect to each other, and I solve big problems. Okay. We think they're in the operation, but if it's not there, you can find it. Yeah. So they come in and they solve the problem. This is what I did for the Nikes and Ubers of the world. Is I wasn't their COO. They have a COO. Clearly, they don't need that. But they're a big enough company that someone has to go down there and find out what's happening. And we don't have the people to do that who can play enough of the instruments to find the problem wherever it might sit. Fix this thing because it's an intractable problem. We don't need you here. We have lots of employees, lots of smart people, lots of people who understand operations, marketing, systems, risk, people, leadership. We have an entire massive organization of people who know lots about either a lot about one of those instruments and the way we play it here, or they know how to play that instrument in a couple of different kinds of songs, meaning different companies. They have some career mobility, but they're still a master of that discipline, and they might know a couple other instruments, but they know them all. So, and clearly, since no one here has been able to fix it, we need somebody who knows enough of the instruments to be able to come in, find the problem, fix it, and leave. And hopefully leave something that stays for a while. And when inevitably doesn't, because the person who handed the keys back over to the newly formed world post-problem doesn't understand enough of the things, it falls apart. So you might have an intractable problem, and you're looking at a fractional COO, the kind who is the problem solver. Solve something inside your business that you can't see is wrong. Okay. And that's a churn kind of thing. Second one is you're a 7-figure entrepreneur looking to be an 8-figure entrepreneur. You've got 5 to 10 people. You haven't had a COO before. You've been doing a lot of all of the things. You've been conducting the work. You've been the one that has to know all the instruments, or at least people you're plugging in for certain things, like vendor management. You have outside people who know some of the roles. You've been managing all that. You want to extricate yourself. You want to finally get your time back, pull yourself out of the business, being the owner, the operator. And you've heard somewhere that a fractional COO, or even your COO, is somebody who's going to be essentially an expediter. Right? This is not fully a chief of staff, but it's not really a COO either. You're the chef and the restaurant owner. You want to be the restaurant owner and not the chef. Maybe you want the freedom to be able to cook when you want to cook and not always be the chef. Fair? Because some business owners say, well, I want to just own it. I want to do the thing. I like doing the thing I'm doing too. Great, you can. But the freedom to do that, unshackling you from your business. if you go with like one of these EOS expediter answers and think that's a COO, no, they're the person saying, okay, I've got the tickets coming in, I'm managing the restaurant now. But they can't be the chef. If you're out, that person's not doing anything. They don't have any decision making. They're just easing the flow of tasks.
So yeah. Well, actually, I want to jump in there too, because someone asked me the other day, what's the difference between what you teach with Harmonious and EOS or the book Traction? And I said, really what it comes down to is those are our favorite clients because they're headed in the right direction, but they're tired of doing more work when what they invested in was doing less work. That whole model, which I actually ran for a short period of time in my last business, really boils down to just doing more things. And it's like a blanket solution of measure everything. I run data on everything and then analyze everything. And it's so confusing because then as the CEO or the founder of the business, you're left doing more than when you started, and you really have just confusion on where it's going to get you. So just to shine some light on what you're getting between running different systems, not just because it's a business system, they're not all created equally.
No, absolutely not. And they're theoretically correct. They're wrong in their application because they're not giving you the 20% of things that matter across all the discipline. They're giving you 80% more to do in one of them, thinking it's going to solve for all the others. And that's not how it works. Okay. But okay. So starter operations, I need some kind of expert, but really what you need is somebody who has multidisciplinary understanding and can make workflow better and is on the way to being a chief of staff kind of thing. And there are plenty of fractional COOs who can do that. Yes, they can play in a band. Yes, they understand music. And they can direct that band, but it's not all the instruments. They're not Prince in this scenario, okay? You might be Springsteen, but you're not Prince. You're not Prince. Musician, fine. Not Prince, baby. Okay. And then the third is a real fractional COO who is, you're not fully ready to hire somebody inside, but you are looking for that person to whom you can hand over the keys for much of this. They understand the interdisciplinary play between all 10 of the fundamental business disciplines that you have. They understand how to manage your team and be you by proxy. They need to be able to take over all this stuff so that you can unshackle yourself from the business and get your time back to the degree that you want. So those are kind of the three that I would say are out there. And so then next you'd say, okay, well, I certainly feel overwhelmed. If I'm a 7 to 8 figure entrepreneur with 10 employees, I understand systems and processes enough that there's something there for people to work with. There's enough people there for a COO to work with. So you've got people issues, you've got process issues, your time. That is the thing though that really is there is I have an enormous amount of stress because I don't have the time freedom that I thought I'd have. I went into business for myself so I can have freedom and make money, and I have neither. I have money, but it's at a cost of my time that I'm unwilling to do. And I don't know how I built this thing the way that it did, but this is exactly the way I built it. Because you didn't build it as much as it metastasized beyond your control in a lot of ways. You had your head down, you did a whole bunch of work, and then you look up one day and you go, how did I build the very thing that I didn't want to build? And I built a machine that pays me well, but it sucks my time into it, and that's what I get back. And that's not the exchange I wanted. Of course not. And so to be able to unshackle yourself there and get that time back, you're also talking about the stress of decisions, right? Decision fatigue is killing me. I don't have the confidence anymore that I had building this company from nothing to 7 figures. I don't have the confidence to go from 7 to 8 or 8 to 9 or beyond. What's 15.
Well, it becomes a math equation there because you're like, if it takes me 60 hours a week to go from 6 to 7 figures, to go from 7 to 8 figures, it will take at least 60 hours, if not 70 or 80 a week, because you don't see the path. You're stuck in your role as the CEO, the founder, the doer, if you will. And where a lot of people get confused, and that's where they lack the confidence, is saying they understand the phrase, what got me here won't get me there, but they don't understand what will get me there. And that's where we're arguing it's going to probably be external, unless you have some sort of a massive, I don't know, heart attack and it causes you to wake up and become a new person overnight. Consulting outside help who has been there and who knows how to get you there will keep your team and your company intact and grow. I think on the other side of this, I heard a story. This was several years ago where the person argued, and they were adamant on this, that in order for you to grow your company at every level, whatever that is for you, however you define it, at every level, you need a new team, like 100% turnover in your staff. And I said, that's got to be the dumbest thing I think I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so set on it because they said people are only capable of so much. Well, I disagree, because Sean, what one man can do,
another can do.
Another can do. You don't need to just throw out the baby with the bathwater. You need to optimize your humans and optimize your operations at the same time. And that's really how this all plays together.
The cost associated with all of the turnover and the decline in efficiencies, in effectiveness of employees already indoctrinated into your system and the ways that you were doing things, provided you have the nimble ability to pivot because you understand change management and process management, leading into analysis, leading into change management, leading into your employee training and support for human optimization. If you do all of that right, you have a machine that can absolutely pivot, unless you're dramatically changing your mission and who you serve. It's absurd for what you're going to lose. You won't make that back up if you think, well, now I've got a new team who's going to have to help me. There's ways to sprinkle in talent and leverage that new talent in a new direction. It's absurd to change that. However, internally, you're right. I think for anybody leveling up anywhere in your fitness, at some point you need a coach, and then you need a different coach. In martial arts, at some point, this dojo no longer serves me. I have to move on to another master. That should be true of every mastermind, every coach, every anything that you have. Is you need a new influx. One of the reasons it's a self-serving, hidden reason, not hidden like we hide it, but it's another reason why we benefit from having luminary experts inside of our inner circle, because we're constantly getting challenged on our assumptions about the world and our model by other experts that we can play with and trust. Because once you internalize things, look without outside of your four walls for some kind of help in getting to the next step, you're not going to be able to see the things that you can't see that are hidden in your business, right? Okay, so I'm tied to this thing. I still love the mission, or maybe you don't. I want to exit.
Well, is it you don't love the mission, or you don't love doing the work to fulfill on the mission? I think a lot of people they start to resent their business because they're tired, they're exhausted, because they're doing the work, and they don't really hate the business. They just hate their role in it.
They hate their role in it. Yeah, so I'm saying you still love your mission, you still love this thing, but it's killing you.
Yeah.
You need to pull yourself out of it, and you need the confidence you're making the right decisions. You need some kind of community, i.e., an outside set of eyes. You have enough problems that are in multiple disciplines, you think, either in your strategy, in your operating models, in your value proposition and processes, in your people management, in your own leadership, in how you measure things, some problem in one of the major disciplines, or you have a problem that you think sits in multiple. So you're probably right for a fractional COO, or I have a COO. They're either newly minted and don't really know what they're doing, or we're going in a totally different direction and they're kind of stumped. They know one way and we might need help. And so You can have a full-time COO and a fractional COO because they play more instruments and they can help up-level the entire game with a fraction of their time. That's the whole point, is to getting massive experience for minimal cost because they're not there that much. So they're going to have to leverage resources inside your four walls. Otherwise, well, if you become that you're paying them full-time and they're inside the walls, then you should just hire them. If they're fully dedicated to you, you're just playing games then for tax purposes. And I want to have an employee, I want a vendor. Okay, a contractor, fine. But let's say you're in that place where you're the 7 to 8 figure entrepreneur with 10 people. You got problems in multiple disciplines, and you want to find a fractional COO. Here's what you need to look for. One, make sure that they share your core values. We start there with everyone we want to play with. Start with the matching of your core values, because this is the person who's going to have to carry water for the mission and vision inside your company. They are going to have to emulate those core values. So if you find the world's most experienced COO, decades and decades of experience at the highest of levels, at the lowest of levels, in all places, and they're just not a good fit for who you are, they're not going to be great at keeping your ecosystem where you think it should be, keeping your esprit de corps, your feeling, your ethos inside your company. It's going to change. Your culture, your company culture is going to be changed by this person. Okay. So if they match with the core values, now you know you can riff and jam with them and play, and they will fit into this very thing that you want, and they will fit into your mission, and they will be a leader that they need to be, an inspirational leader, just by their very carrying of that water. So first, look for core value alignment. Look for that for anybody you work with. Second, do they have a strong process or methodology, something they can point to? They have to come in and get up to speed really, really fast. You're dying over here. You need this help. And you don't want a 6-month kicking of the tires to figure out what you do and who you are and what the next best steps are, so they can start making decisions for you to alleviate your decision fatigue. And they can start carrying roles and handling things before they ever get to you. It's the only way you're going to get your time back. So they have to have a methodology. Do they have something like our diagnostic up front, where we can say we're going to come in already knowing where 80% of the issues are hidden inside your disciplines? And we have a methodology that we have used at the Nikes and Ubers of the world, all the way to the lowest lowest number of people, right? So on entrepreneur, we know it works everywhere. So it is a repeatable, mentionable, point-toable methodology that you can quickly communicate to your employees and start to educate them on. So if they have a way to either find hidden problems, because you're asking them to do that, or get up to speed. We have 100 questions in 100 days methodology that we also use that tells you it's your 90-day plan. Every senior leader should come in with a 90-day plan and be able to tell you before they get there, articulate, these are the steps I take in order to get a handle on things. And if a fractional COO tells you, well, I can't do that until I get in there and kick around, they're winging it, and winging it is how you've gotten here. You don't need help.
It's not going to help you get there.
There's a lot of heavy lifting then that you have to do. Yes, they have to be able to come in and ask questions and tailor their plan. They should have a general idea. This is how I scope things quickly, easily, and then get people on board and then move in a new direction. Great.
Yeah. So real quick on that too. That's two things that a lot of people miss, which is
implementation on that. So it's, go ahead.
Yes. I was just going to say, so that actually happened to me a number of years ago when I was bringing a consultant into my first business to help me get my freedom back. And I was looking for someone who had been there, done that, and could help me see what was coming down the road and help me achieve my goals. That's what really a consultant or a fractional anything would do. And when I was talking to him, I didn't put the pieces together at the time, but now it's exactly what you're saying. And that's why it ultimately didn't work out the way I thought it was. He had a plan, but it was only from his one experience of running that exact company in that exact industry. And this guy was, I don't have anything bad to say about him. He was a legend in that industry and did amazing things, but I wanted to take my business in a slightly different direction. And he didn't have the tools to necessarily see that path. So that ended up getting me in a lot of trouble in the long run, because I was trying to like split the business in two pieces. I was trying to go my way. He was trying to keep me on his way, mostly because he couldn't see
Yeah.
my way with his results.
Yeah.
So that was something that you definitely don't want to learn the hard way. You don't want to just go with the industry expert, if you will, and say like, oh, well, I have a SaaS company and this person has grown a 9-figure SaaS company.
Yeah.
Okay. All business is the same, but all companies are unique in the way that they run and the goals that they pursue. So do you want to run a 9-figure SaaS company doing exactly what they did? It's already been done. I feel like you don't. So maybe consult someone who can get you to your goals, not just chase someone else's already achieved goals.
Yeah, so that leads to the third criteria, which also has two parts, is to make sure they have that diversity of experience in playing all the instruments. From a so one, they can play all the instruments and understand every role, and two, so that they have demonstrated that they can meet you where you are and get you to where you want to go. So yes, I've worked with companies like you, and I have brought them from where you are all the way to and past where you want to go. So have they done that entire journey? So it's shared core values, so that you know that they'll be able to believe in your mission. So you may not even want to split those into, right? So they have shared core values. We believe in the same things, and we share a passion for this mission. That's one. Two, you have a methodology that you can point to, both in discerning and identifying problems and in implementing solutions. I have an architecture we implement is the answer you're looking for. And then seeing if that resonates with you. And then three is, do they have the diversity of experience so that they can play all the instruments, so you can be as untethered from your business as possible, and that they demonstrate they can take you from where you are to where you want to go. So this would be, let's use sports as an analogy, because as we're doing this, it's right after the big game. No copyright infringement here, right? So you want to be, you're the owner, but you're coaching on the sideline too. It's like, I want to be up in the owner's box. Could I get a EOS type expediter in here? And so that wouldn't even be maybe that's somebody giving you all kinds of safety requirements on the sidelines. Like, I got a whole bunch of other work now. Right. So what I really wanted was, I wanted an offensive line coordinator. Right. That only gets half the equation, right? I got to get somebody run the offense. I got to get somebody run the defense. Now I have 2 employees doing half this job. I'm still down here. When do I get to go up there? Yeah, because you need somebody who understands every single position on the field and the interplay of the dynamics around them, and what this guy would be doing, and what this person would be doing, and what that woman's doing, and then that I can go up there. Yes, finally, yes. Okay. So that COO is that coach level person who can, right? You're looking for Prince. Now you can put on any concert you want.
Yeah. So really, to answer the question, what can a good COO do for your business? It's about the path to your freedom and your time back. It's in the short term, if you are the upper 6-figure entrepreneur or the low 7 figures, you just crossed that barrier. You probably don't need a full-time COO. They're expensive. Full disclosure. They do a lot, and they do a lot for your business. To get your freedom back is going to cost you a little bit of money. Start with the fractional COO. Start with understanding how this works in your business. And ultimately, that person, if they are a fractional COO, a true specialist in that role, they want to phase themselves out. They want to bring on a full-time COO. Once they scale up your business, get you out, get your freedom back, they want to help you find a full-time COO, work together through the transition, and then back out as the fractional piece. It is an orchestra, really.
And now you can let it sit there and provide all the income and joy that you wanted from it, or pour in when you want to, or now you can sell it at multiples with confidence in those multiples, because the new owner says, and I already have a staff here. How much do I need you? How much of this business is you?
Zero.
Almost none, because the COO is me, other than the fact that I'm in the owner's box. They know all the instruments. They know all the roles. They know all the things. And we're running a system that then they can even teach you, new owner, so you know what's going on.
Yeah, this
Help
is
us.
the path is the path is sometimes hard to see, but once you go through it, a lot of times people they would want to sell their business, and that's why they would kind of go through this process, and then it becomes so fun and easy, really, because they're not in it, that they end up keeping it. Why would you not keep a steady stream of cash flow that causes you no stress, takes none of your time, and is optional? And when it is optional and you go into it, it's fun.
It's
That
finally
is
fulfill. It's
amazing.
finally fulfilling on the mission that I
Yeah.
set out to for the avatars that I'm trying to serve, and me. It's delivering me the time and the money so that I can have the freedom or the fun or the fantastical life that I wanted.
Amen. All right. Well, we got to run. This has been a good episode. If you want to take that next step in your business and explore what a fractional COO would look like, or a full-time COO, we have resources, whether ourselves or our partners who we partner with, that can actually place a full-time COO in your business. And we want to talk. Take the first step. Whatif.com. It's on the screen. It's in the
Take
show
our
notes.
diagnostic.
Take the diagnostic. It's on whatif.com. You'll be able to see what's going on in your business. We're going to run. We'll see you next week on The Ether. This was a good one. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. See ya.